make sure you all huddle up, and we at Sportsnight do a deep dive. We will bring you all the winners, so make sure you celebrate with us, and do not pass this show by. I have a fever, and the only cure is a little more cowbell. Sportsnight is next.
Bring out the cowbell. You can never have too much.
I do have the fever, and the only cure is a little more cowbell.
Well, welcome to Sportsnight. I want to thank everybody else out there for joining us. I'm Joe Young.
I'm Howie Shapiro.
And very exciting, a lot of video to get into. We are in mid-season form, and some teams hoping that the spark to their success is just around the corner. We're to start with the football team. They will be back on home turf this week, hoping to stop their slide after back-to-back lopsided losses to start their season. On Friday, they traveled to Osseo to face an Orioles squad that had been hammered by Maple Grove in its opener, so both teams were looking for a bounce-back game to even their record early in the season. No scoring until early in the second quarter. Omar Knighton pushes his way in from the 3 on fourth down. He had over 120 rush yards and 2 scores for the Orioles, but a missed PAT made it 6-0. Cardinals answered quickly. Jeremy Oddie finds Gavin Sayada behind the defense. He turns and heads to the house, a 64-yard touchdown, and the Cardinals have the lead less than a minute later. Things pretty much go south after that. Late in the second quarter, Gavin Stahl throwing deep on the left side. Iggy Cooper goes up and gets it. He's all alone to the end zone. Start of a monster night for their senior receiver. Orioles up 14-7 with 3 minutes left. After a Cardinals 3 and out, Cooper comes up big again, breaks free from 3 defenders, and he is off to the races. Another score with 20 seconds left gives Osseo a 2-score lead at the half, and they start with the ball in the second. Cooper showing his skills one more time. An amazing one-handed grab, tiptoe down the sideline, and dive to the end zone. 3 catches, 102 yards, 3 scores. The Cardinals' first 2 drives, on the other hand, of the third quarter ended in turnovers that gave Osseo first and goal situations, an interception, and then that bad snap that Jackson Young was forced to fall on. Jonathan Willis scores 2 plays later. It's 42-7 at that point. Cardinals lose in running time for the second straight game. 49-7 is the final.
It was the first time I've had an opportunity to look at the highlights, and I'll tell you, their Coach Stockhouse of Osseo talked about Iggy Cooper and how he
had a game.
Well, he had missed his junior season with an injury. Boy, he's an excellent receiver, and that one-handed catch, first time I've had to see it, that was a thing of beauty.
Yeah, it absolutely was, and he had a night, and Omar Knighton had a night as well. But the Cardinals back to the drawing board. St. Michael Albertville, I believe, actually beat Anoka last week, so they're at 1-1 coming in to the Cardinals complex on Friday, and the Cardinals got a lot to figure out after their first 2 games.
They do. No place to go but up, obviously. But yeah, they're going to have to make some adjustments. You know, it'll be interesting to talk to Coach Russin this week and kind of get his feel after, as we talked about, 2 lopsided losses. I think he'll have to make some adjustments, and certainly what he does really on both sides of the ball.
Well, and over 90 points allowed, only 7 points scored.
Yep.
Both of those numbers have to be incredibly concerning.
For sure.
For the Cardinal football team. Tennis team, as we talked about last week, because of the weather, they ended up having to play the first couple of days of school, 3 matches right in a row, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because of weather the previous week. They were hoping to avoid that with the start of school and continued tennis, but they soldier through it. The Cardinals fell to Andover on Tuesday at 5-2. Caitlin Easton winning at fourth singles. Miller and Koo getting the Cardinals' other win at third doubles. Avery Anderson lost in a tiebreak at third singles. And Gabby Newton played well, but came up short, losing 3-6, 3-6. On Thursday, they bounced back with a win, or on Wednesday, rather, they bounced back with a win, 5-2 over Iredale. All of the wins in straight sets. Gabby Newton at first singles, Michelle Lee at second, Caitlin Easton at fourth, Ruddy and Semensky at first doubles, and Miller and Koo at third doubles.
Well, the Cardinals are back home on Thursday for the 3rd match day in a row, hosting the Blaine Bengals. Cardinals trying to keep themselves above the 500 mark, but facing one of the tougher teams in the conference. The Cardinals may be a little tired, but always fired up to face the Bengals. Gabby Newton continues to battle with the best of them at first singles, taking on Blaine's Donica Schofield. Newton strong on the baseline will get this point, but unfortunately she's going to lose a tight one, 5-7, 4-6. Melanie Lee on the court for second singles, and she had some solid points against the Bengals. Great job attacking the net right here for the winner, but she falls 3-6, 2-6. Bengals keep it rolling. Coming up here at third singles, Avery Anderson able to battle through a tough volley at this point, finally putting it past her Bengals opponent, but she loses 1-6, 0-6. Nice job there. Coming up, Caitlin Easton gets the Cards a win at four singles. She battles back after losing the first set to get the win in three. Unfortunately, it's the only win of the day for the home team. Bengals are going to be able to control all three courts at doubles, winning in straight sets each. Macy Ruddy and Abby Semensky able to win this volley at the net, but they fall 4-6, 0-6. And then Morgan Severson coming up here with Coral Weber. They're in the near court for the Cards at second doubles. It's another well-played point from the baseline that ends in the Cards' favor, but Severson and Weber lose 2-6, 0-6. Talitha Koo serving for the Cards at third doubles. She and Kaya Miller have played really well together as of late. Miller showing the reach to win this point, but unfortunately they're going to lose 2-6, 1-6, and the Cardinals are going to fall overall 6-1.
Still sitting right at the 500 mark. Can't feel too bad about that, and they do have some ladies playing some very strong tennis. They were in Brainerd on Saturday. This was an event, a trip that Coach Storick added that the girls were really excited about because they got to go up and spend the night, get some team bonding in.
Yep.
But it was an individual tournament broken down by first, second, third, fourth singles, first, second, third doubles. They play 8 teams. They play in a pool. Best teams out of the pool play for places. And there is how you have it. Melanie Lee, the best finish at second singles, finished in second place. Caitlin Easton, who has we've talked about already on the show, having a nice start to her season, is third place at fourth singles. Fourth place for both Gabby Newton and Avery Anderson. Semensky and Ruddy at first doubles also finished in fourth place. Cardinals are at Osseo on Tuesday, at Centennial on Thursday, and then they will host a quad on Saturday.
A lot of tennis. A lot of tennis this week.
It's hard to believe. I think their playoff is like 2.5 weeks away. 2.5,
Crazy.
3 weeks. It's they're almost to the end of their regular season already. That's how fast it goes. Volleyball team only had one match last week, but it was the conference opener, and it was against one of the favorites in the Northwest Suburban. The Anoka Tornadoes finished third at state last season, and they opened their schedule with a sweep over St. Francis. Cardinals lost a 4-set match to that same Saints squad, so this would be a huge challenge, to say the least. The Tornadoes stormed to the lead from the very start of the first set, but the Cardinals continued to fight. Senior hitter Bella Nelson had some big strikes that found the floor. That one right down the middle couldn't be returned. Anoka was up by double digits, though, by the midway point of that first set. Cardinals don't roll over. Great block by senior captain Natalie Ashworth on that point. Cardinals lose 25-15 in the first. Cardinals able to keep it close a little longer in the second, but can't keep pace with the Tornadoes in the end. Just too many weapons for Anoka. Piper Vaughn finishing there. Anoka takes a second set, 25-16. Tornadoes gaining even more strength in the third. Very quick turn on the serve receive. Ivy Manning hammers it home. Third set was tied at 7. Then the Tornadoes blew past the Cardinals, outscoring them 18-4 down the stretch to complete the sweep with a 25-11 win in set number 3.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was not there. I left you high and dry to do my fantasy football draft, which you know where my priorities are. But yeah, it sounds like Anoka's pretty good squad.
They are very good.
Did the Cardinals get new uniforms? They look new to me. I don't know. I saw they didn't look like the ones they had last season, but I don't know if anybody said anything when they were there.
I did not. We did not discuss that. We were more concerned with with the trying to get that very young team to compete on that level. It's tough, as we talked about last week. They came in, they had a very fast start to the season. Yep. They went up and played in that tournament in Rush City, hoping they get at least a little bit positive to take away with it. Instead, they were swept in 3 out of the 4 matches up there. They start 0-6 in non-conference. And how are you going to start the season? Well, we do get to start at home, but it's against the Anoka Tornadoes. That is a senior-dominated squad, and coming off a season last year where they lost 3 games in the regular season and then lost the state semifinal to eventual undefeated champion Wayzata, but then took the 3rd place match in straight sets relatively handily.
Well, a young squad, and it certainly doesn't get any easier in this conference.
No, it will not. They've got another busy week this week. Or a more busy week this week, I should say. They're at Hastings tonight, Monday. They're at Park Center on Tuesday, and then they will be at the Pact Charter School on Thursday.
Definitely a busy week. Well, after starting their season on the road, the swimming and diving team opened its home schedule last Thursday, hosting Park Center. The Cardinals are a very small, very young team. Their first meet was against a conference power from Elk River. This meet with the Pirates gives them a chance to compete against a team in a more similar position. Cardinals had their best race of the night in just the second event. Gabrielle Lewis blowing away the competition, as you can see here in the 200 freestyle. She's going to win this event by almost 20 seconds. The Cardinals took 3rd and 5th places as well, both teams struggling with numbers. Pirates have no divers, so the Cardinals' Delilah Smith-Jeanette was the only varsity diver. She posts a score of 157.75. The meet is tied after first 5 events. Unfortunately, the Pirates had a little more power for the remainder of the meet. Liz Hogarth with a strong race in the 100 free, all alone in second at a time of 106.58. Freshman Tyler Shuda took 3rd. Up next, Joe's favorite, 500 free, and Gabby Lewis grabs her 2nd blue ribbon of the meet, and again by a huge margin. She's going to finish in a time of 6:02.19, almost 45 seconds ahead of 2nd place. Cards trailing, but within reach into the very last few events. And here's hope for the future. 8th grader Lily Moulton in the 100 backstroke. She wins easily, all by herself at the wall in a time of 1:11.27. Nice win there. But unfortunately, the Pirates are going to get away with the win by a score of 91-83.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was. Moulton was 7 or 8 seconds ahead. That's good speed.
That's great speed. Yep.
Great to see it coming from the lower levels. And what I hear from Coach Radis, much as it was last year, they're a small group, but she really likes the athletes that they do have, and the attitude and the effort is definitely there, and that's all you can control. As with so many of the teams we talk about over and over the last couple of years, all of these teams would like to have more numbers and get more participation, but they're really happy with the effort they're getting from the girls who are there. They are at Osseo this week on Thursday, and then next week they will host Champlin Park also on Thursday. Cross-country teams were competing in the Bauman-Rovin Invitational end of last week. I think it was on Thursday. Boys finished 11th place overall. A very strong finish for Lachlan Demmer, finishing top 10 in 8th place with a time of 16:27.1. But there you see the places fall off pretty quickly after that. Owen James is in 36th. Chell Norquist in 53rd. Velasquez 57th. Boston in 72nd. Josh Hyatt finished in 75th. The girls finished 12th place out of 12 teams. Ruby Demmer was 21st overall, and much like the boys, a long gap before you see anyone else. Next finisher almost for the Cardinals, almost 4 minutes behind Ruby. Lily McKenzie finishes in 78th. Kylie Martinick is right behind her. Fuller is in 87th, and Borns is in 89th. And, you talk about the importance of the end of the season, and that's something that Coach Denny Green always talks about. Not going to be too concerned, and it's much the same for Coach Radis. We're not going to be too concerned about finishes and places and things in these early races, but are we achieving and on the curve we need to be at the end? But at the same time, they need to find some smaller gaps between their top leaders and the rest of the pack.
Exactly, and you want to continue to obviously work on your personal times and that type of thing. But you're right; they have to get a little more continuity there.
In order, especially with the boys who have talked about a goal of a team finish at the state tournament, need to get more guys grouped together at the top. They're at the St. Francis Invite on Thursday this week. Next week is the GRIAC Invite on Friday. And then for those they don't have room for in the GRIAC on Friday, they are running in the Osceola Invite on Saturday. Boys soccer team started their week last week against Anoka on Tuesday night, and they battled to a draw with the Tornadoes. Kish and 8 Haiju are the goal scorers. Warku and Howard are the get the assists. I love that. Drew Howard getting an assist. The keeper also made 5 saves. You don't see that very often.
Nope.
It's even more rare in soccer than it is in hockey, but love it when the keeper gets a helper. Well, the Cardinals returned home on Thursday, hosting a winless team from Elk River. The Elks were 0-3 and didn't score until the final 5 minutes of Tuesday's game against Osseo. Cardinals offense, meanwhile, had 5 goals through 2 games. So if they could keep that type of production and keep the Elks scoring trend the same, they'd be in good shape. Cardinals bringing the attack early. Tamsir Jarju able to find some room, get off a rocket, but Elk River keeper Spencer Burgoon makes a diving save to keep us scoreless. Still early on, and the Cardinals make a big mistake. Failed clear is played to the back post. Kane Christensen is there to finish. The Elks have their first lead of the season, and they hold on to it in the second half. Jarju in the midfield using his speed to find space. He's able to play it all the way across. Adam Kish with time to settle it and score. We're tied. And what a start for the sophomore. 4th goal in game 3 of the year. Elk River breaks the tie, though, midway through the second half. Ball played in behind the defense. Christensen wins the race to the ball, and that's his second of the game. Cardinals pressure but can't find the answer, and the Elks had a great chance to get some insurance. Mason West denied by Drew Howard. Pulls off the kick save. Maybe he's a hockey goalie after all. Elks hold on, though, for their first win of the year. Deal the Cards their first loss. 2-1 the final.
Yeah, and I think it's probably a disappointing loss for them. They figured they had an opportunity to on their home turf to get the win over Elk River, and I know that coach is, I'm sure, a little disappointed by the fact that they didn't get that win. But it's a young season.
They would have loved to, but at the same time, rewind a week and a half and say you're going to start 1-1-1. Definitely would have taken that. Now, granted, they were supposed to start against a very good Maple Grove team, and that game is actually happening tonight.
Correct.
Because of the heat last Monday.
Not an easy
or
one.
2 weeks ago. But either way, I think they feel pretty good about being 1-1-1. A lot will be told by how they perform against a tough Maple Grove team tonight. Then they're on the road against Osseo on Tuesday and over on Thursday. They'll be back home for a 1 o'clock afternoon game against Cambridge Isani on Saturday. And the Blue Jackets are a section team, so that's this is a big week.
It is, actually,
for the team. 3 conference games and a section game to really test them early on. As we talk about 1-1-1. Feeling pretty good. Adam Kish off to a great start.
Great start.
And the team as a whole, scoring-wise, doing better than they have in years. On a pace like that, if they can keep that scoring pace, only held to the 1, granted, but still, they're averaging 2 goals a game.
Yep.
That would be a huge improvement.
Agreed.
To get to the end of the year, still averaging 2 per game.
I agree.
Well, the girls soccer team, similar schedule. They started against Anoka, and they dropped to 0-3 on the year with a 5-1 loss. At the hands of the Tornadoes.
On Thursday, the Cardinals welcomed the Elk River Elks to the complex, a team coming off its first win of the season. The Elks were also struggling on offense with just 3 goals in their first 3 games. This could have been a first goal win situation. Unfortunately, the Elks offense caught fire instead. Early on, Elk River attacking down the right wing. Molly Felgate gets a good look, but Aaliyah Williams makes the save. Good job there, coming up with that one. Cardinals, they're trying to create at the other end. Good passing through the midfield. Stegeman able to get it back through to Callie Alphen. She gets a great look, but fires it high. Is it coming up? And just a little bit too much over the top of the net. Elk River opens the scoring, though, midway through the first. Coming up here, Ava Osterman with a great feed to send Felgate all in alone. She steps around to charging Williams, taps it into the net, and that was the spark that the offense was looking for. Just a couple minutes later, it's Kyla Cook winning the race down the wing. She'll put it across the far post, perfectly placed to give Elk River the 2-goal edge. Nice goal there. We are still in the first. Corner kick for the Elks, played right to the front of the net. Felgate will get there to tap it in. Her second of 3 in the game. Elks going to run up the score, a 9-0 win over the Cards.
Yeah, there was obviously wasn't there. We did have a camera, but yeah, things just went south for them, and it didn't get any better. They also had Maple Grove on the schedule 2 weeks ago. It was postponed due to heat, but they played their game against the Crimson on Saturday. They lose 10-0 and fall to 0-5 on the year now, and they have their struggles kind of the opposite of the boys. Yep. Is their struggles with goal scoring are right where they were, and they've given up way more.
Way too many.
Very, very, very similar position to really where the football team is early on. Football and girls soccer, giving up way too much, not getting enough offense.
Right.
And both will need to figure that out relatively quickly. As this season, we talk about it all the time. It's so fast. You don't have time to sit and think and second guess yourself. You've got to make your decisions, and you've got to try and get things turned around in a hurry. The Cardinals girls will also have a busy schedule. They're at Osseo on Tuesday and Andover on Thursday, and they will host Becker on Saturday. I believe their kickoff is scheduled to start at 11 a.m.
Yep, a lot of soccer action.
We are going to be at the tennis courts, the Bob Pivot courts, to see the Cardinals taking on the Osseo Orioles on Tuesday, and then on Friday we will be there when the Cardinals host the Saints from St. Michael, Albertville. Next week, you get a little volleyball action on Monday night. But that is going to do it for this edition of Sportsnight. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. To the entire crew, including Howie Shapiro, I'm Joe Young. Say goodnight.